Well, tax season is underway, and every year the IRS issues warnings about tax refund scams. Dan Goldberg, President and Managing Director of IKOR, is here with advice on how you can protect yourselves from possible scams. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, tell us about what are some of the latest scams you're hearing about?
The latest scams are typically somebody will get your information, file a false return, and you will get money deposited into your bank account, a false refund. So all of a sudden you have no idea how it got there, and then they will call you up or contact you and basically say they're a collection agency and threaten you to wire, unless you wire them money, the money for the refund, then there will be various proceedings against you, whether it's a court appearance, whether it's suspending your license, all kinds of things like that. So basically it's a pressure tactic.
All right, what's the Dirty Dozen? The
Dirty Dozen, the IRS comes out with this every year. It's on their website, and it lists the latest 12 scams, tax scams, and they could be obviously identity theft, phishing with PH. There's also false and inflated refunds, things like that. It's every year they do it, and it's a great thing for the public to look at on the website.
Okay. Now, how do you know if the IRS, which you don't want to happen, is actually contacting you? Because that's one of the ways that these scammers try to get you.
Correct. And I don't know anybody that really would love the IRS to contact them. But what typically happens, the IRS virtually never will contact you by phone. So as soon as somebody calls you on the phone and says they're from the IRS, hang up. The IRS will contact you typically by mail. Okay, so what the scammers try to do is, again, it's all about pressure tactics. They will call you up. They will also send a message. They will leave a message, says call us back for instructions to send the refund to XYZ.
All right, and so you think if the IRS is really contacting you, there are going to be no threats involved? That's one of the things?
There are no threats involved, and also they will read you your taxpayer bill of rights.
Ah, okay. Is that kind of like the Miranda?
Kind of like the Miranda, kind of like the hospital HIPAA rules, all those things.
You have to listen for.
Yes.
Okay. What about the fraudulent refund? What are some signs that there's an issue there?
Well, unfortunately, what happens is, and this is why we recommend you file your taxes as early as possible, is sometimes what will happen is you go to file your taxes and you're blocked because somebody else has filed them for you. So that's your first inkling that there's an issue. And then next, what might happen is, again, the money shows up in your bank account. So that's a fraudulent refund. And then another fraudulent refund, according to the IRS, is obviously when you inflate your deductions, things like that. They also call that a fraudulent refund.
All right. We also hear a lot about identity theft. So what are you supposed to do once it happens to you? So
identity theft is very prevalent. What should happen is you report it to the local authorities, number one.
So you call police?
You call the police.
Okay.
You get an incident report number. You notify the FBI, and if it was by post, the postal inspector. Then you notify the IRS. And lastly, you notify your insurance agent. And then it's a whole process. Nobody ever wants to go through this because it really is not a good thing. It's a horrible thing to go through. And unfortunately, in today's climate, identity theft is prevalent because everybody is asking for your information.
Right.
I'll give you a case in point. I was signing up for a special needs housing presentation. The sign-up asked me for my date of birth. What do they need my date of birth for? They don't. Right? So people are asking you for information. It may be innocent, but they really don't need it. Same thing with doctor's offices. They do not need your Social Security number.
Right. So you just don't give those.
You have to be very wary of giving out this information.
Okay.
And unfortunately, with social media, we give out things way too freely.
Yeah. Dan, thank you so much. Very good warnings and advice. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.